Hello and welcome to smallbusinessgal.com. I am your host Vika Lashenko, and today I'm interviewing Hengam from Mattenga's Pizza in Schertz, Texas. This interview is absolutely incredible, full packed of value and great information that you can also use for your local business. Please note that this interview was filmed early 2015, so the information is a little bit, 9 months old, but it is still absolutely relevant and you will absolutely love it. Hello Hengam, welcome to the show. It's so good to have you.
Fantastic. I'm glad to be here chatting with you.
Awesome. So Hengam, you and your husband own a beautiful, successful pizzeria that you've purchased about 9 months ago. Can you tell us about your story? Where did you even begin? How did you even make the decision of buying a pizzeria? What was your background beforehand? Tell us a little bit about that.
So, the story is very long. I'm going to back up 7 years ago or so. I moved to, I'm Iranian originally. That's why my name is strange. But I lived in Spain for many years. And then afterwards, I moved to New Mexico. I began a longer story for college, for electrical engineering. And that's where I met my husband. He did civil engineering. And so as part of that, we loved hospitality. We got married senior year. We have 2 little boys. But we loved hospitality. We loved having people over, feeding them all the time, a lot of college students. And then so during the last senior year of high school, we got to spend a lot of time together. And then right after college, with big hopes and trying to get great jobs, we started working and we realized, hey, this is crazy. Whoever came up with that was stupid. To be gone 8 to 5, not seeing your loved one, coming home tired and just not having much time off. It was not for us to have a job, a regular 9 to 5 kind of a job setting. So we thought, hey, let's have a business or something like that. And we thought maybe a restaurant would be a good entry level because we thought, hey, business and hospitality, restaurants, maybe be kind of the close one to that. So with that idea, we thought to do that. We wanted to move out of New Mexico. So we thought Texas would be great just because the economy is very good. And the area we live in, the San Antonio area, the weather is very nice. It's green. It never gets too cold or too hot. I mean, it gets a little hot, but it's not too cold. It's actually very nice. So we came out here, and there's a website called Biz Buy Sell. They have it's like Zillow for businesses. So a lot of local businesses, you can choose the state for wherever it is, and you can see different businesses, any kind of local laundromat, restaurant, boutique, all kinds of businesses you can find there. And there's always a broker involved. Which is similar to like a Zillow. You are going to have a realtor involved, so that person is the liaison or in between to introduce you to the person who's trying to sell the business and things of that nature. And so we came out Christmas time last year, not 2014 Christmas, it'd be 2013 Christmas. We came up to this area for the first time. We saw the restaurant and we kind of went for it. We placed an offer and they accepted it, and we just got ourselves into something we had no idea what we got ourselves into. So that's kind of how it started.
Wow. So in no restaurant background, right? No restaurant background. Civil engineer and mechanical engineer.
Electrical, but yes.
Electrical.
Yeah.
Okay, electrical engineer. Decide to buy a restaurant. Okay, that's mind-blowing, and I commend you for your bravery. That's amazing. So what did your family say when you were doing that? When you decided to buy a business?
Well, my parents, when I was pregnant with our first son, my parents moved from Spain. They moved to the U.S. and they lived with us. So while I was at work, both my husband and I were at work back in New Mexico life, my son would stay home with my parents. So my parents lived with us. And right now, my boys are with my mom. My dad is working here right now. My husband's home. I'm here right now. So I go home. The other one comes. And so the children are always with family. Otherwise, we would not do this. We could not do that. It's just too difficult on a family, especially if you have a young family. So if you don't have help and support, it's going to be hard. So we have that. We're blessed to have that. So my parents thought we're crazy, but they're crazy themselves. So we just kind of. I think one of the things is when you are excited about something, sometimes you don't see things clearly, and you just move forward. And at the end of the day, I believe that obviously this was no accident for us to have this restaurant. Um, you know, it's God's plan at the end for us. For us to be here in every step where we're going. But a lot of times you don't realize how things got to connect, and you are where you are in life. But that's another conversation. So, but yeah, so my parents live with us, and they help us at the restaurant too. So they had to learn everything as well, in the kitchen as well as us.
Wow, that's amazing. So, because a lot of us, business owners, when we decide to do something, we always get kind of like the weird stares. We'd look like, what? Nobody has done that, or what do you like? Move to a different state. So you guys overcame. You guys maybe had your pink glasses on when you guys thought like we're gonna move, or was it more like it's gonna be hard? We know it's gonna be hard, but we're gonna do this.
I think what happens with the value of being engineers is not much, but if there's just some value out of it is to be able to view things as a problem and solution, and not be too emotional about it. Is it going to be okay? Is it not going to be okay? Is it going to be, just too much conversation in your head? Just get to work. What does it need to happen? Just get it done. And we were unhappy living in New Mexico where we lived. We lived in a very, very, very small town in the middle of nowhere. And there was no challenge. There was nothing new and exciting. There was nothing to do. And we really wanted to move out of that environment to an environment that was challenging. And that's what we wanted. And then at the end, I think it is great to be in a challenging kind of a hard situation. You get too comfortable. Things are just on a job setting. There's just too boring. I think there's no challenge. It's not fun. But.
That's very interesting that you say that, because I was just listening to a podcast. Another couple, they had a story where they were in the same, the husband was in the job, the wife was with the kid, with her boy at home, and they're like, we want to be entrepreneurs, we want to really get this started, but they didn't want to start it when they were in their city, so they moved. They totally moved to start their entrepreneurial journey. And this is so interesting because I'm seeing a pattern, and they mentioned that you really have to get out of your comfort zone. You can't rely on your old way of life to come back to your old way of life. And I know we spoke earlier, and you mentioned that like there's no going back. There is no plan B.
Like we sold our house, and we over the phone rented the house that we're like anything would be all right, just a house, just doesn't matter. I looked in Google Map or whatever it was. I was like, yeah, the neighborhood looks nice. There should have no criminal neighbors. So, and it's a nice place. Overall, like this area of San Antonio is northeast. Some of these towns are, they're very nice. And there's a military base near, so there are good people around. We're not home much anyways. But so we moved. We sold our house in New Mexico. We moved, bought the restaurant, and that's it. There was no going back. And it's just too much thought in your head. Oh, if it was this, it's past. It's over. Don't even waste time thinking about it. What if? What should? It's just a waste of time. And so when you get very busy, you forget to think about if you had food or not. You're just so busy, which is a little bit what's going on.
Wow. So you and your husband are working on the business together, and you work side by side most of the time, right?
Yes.
In the pizzeria. And how do you both work together, and how do you divide marriage and co-worker, or how do you keep it? Because I love my husband with all my heart, but I'm not sure if I could work with him side by side forever, and I mean for the next year, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. So I think it depends on the kind of business we do. Mm-hmm. I feel like one of the things, because when we lived in New Mexico for a few years, the first 3 years of our marriage, we had nothing to do. There was nowhere to go. So we spent a lot of time together. So we were able to kind of become best friends. We were kind of best friends. That's why we got married. So once you have that friendship, I feel that you have the same values. You have the same, and if you have a big picture idea, you're not going to be too focused on the details. Another thing that we do is that we have separation of tasks. So even my parents, so I have my parents and my husband and me. If you want to think about one thing, what is our opinion of the pen? That is a wrong approach to it, because everybody's going to be different. Now, who are we going to do? Whatever. So what we do is my mother handles one, like the appetizer station or something, and she works nights. My father works morning, and he handles different station, even within the kitchen, I mean. And then my husband and I, we have separation of tasks as well. He does a lot of the HR and the operations. I do a lot of marketing. Now, I seek counsel. I ask him, hey, I'm thinking of doing this event at the restaurant. Do you think that would be a good marketing effort? He gives me his ideas, and I, take them or whatever it is. But he's not like, hey, you must do this or not. He obviously hears me out. This is my specialty, and I don't, I give him advice. Hey, with the operations, we should do this. We should schedule staff this or that. But at the end of the day, he makes the decisions for that. I make decisions for this, because there are hundreds of things that you need to make decisions for. And there's not kind of much of an overlap. And I think that's one of the reasons that there is peace. Another one is, if you are a control freak, you are going to have a very hard time. When you have a local business, you have 20 employees, they have their own dramas and problems and then you have customers. Each of them is going to have some sort of expectation of their own. And marketing, operations, HR, paying people, bills. I mean, there's so much going on. If you are a control freak, if I need to be like, I really need to know what's going on with the operations. I don't need to know about it. I have enough on my plate that I can barely manage. So if you need to trust as well your spouse, that he's going to focus on that, I'm going to focus on this, and we are both going to make mistakes, and that's a fact. And you got to learn from it and move forward. So I would say that that's as well important, and you need to just have peace with that you're going to make mistakes, or your spouse is going to make mistakes, and you're not going to make that a big deal of, fight about it, or it's because money you will make back. Marriage is more important. Time you will never get back, for sure. Yeah. So $400, whatever, it's gone. Just move on from it. And it's hard because money is short. We don't have too much of it. We have a lot of employees to pay and stuff, but you need to let go to have peace and a happy marriage, I would say, and a business, like a local business. So something like that.
I love that, because when I interviewed Mika Johnson, the gluten-free bakery here in Portland, she also mentioned that her and her husband, because they work side by side as well, and they have their own tasks too. So I think I'm also seeing a pattern there. So I think that's really important to really divide that, and like, okay, where's your specialty? Where's your specialty? That's really good. So you mentioned that you have 20 employees. Did you buy the business and have the 20 employees, or did you grow into it? Because that's a lot of responsibility.
That is an insane amount of other problems. But so when we bought this pizzeria, it was an existing pizzeria we bought, and buying a local business a lot of time, and that's why I think it's good for people to go to like a Biz Buy Sell. It is not too expensive to buy a business at all. It's kind of similar to buying a house. We don't have a house right now. We live in a rental, so we sold our house and we decided to get a business. It's not impossible to buy a business. It depends and stuff, and that's another conversation. How a business is priced. It depends on a lot of things. I can in another conversation. But anyways, does that make sense what I'm saying? Or
Yeah. No, so how did the business, did the pizzeria already have the 20 employees, or did
No, it did have 4 or 5 employees in the back. It had about 5 in the front who were kind of part-timers. The way when we bought the restaurant, when we inherited and it's very hard when you take over an existing employee, they have already their own culture, they have their own set of rules and all of that. It is very hard if they don't have the level of leadership and maturity to understand, okay, I have a new boss I need to, abide by. They're going to have new rules. If you're not flexible, if you're not humble, hey, they don't know. I worked here 2 years. I know everything, so they don't work here anymore. So we had to kind of let go of them one by one because they did not want to improve. They did not want to change. They were set in their ways, so we had to hire new people. And in a restaurant business, you're going to have people come and go all the time. They move, they do this, people change jobs, and it's extremely hard because you're just going to have, it's very time consuming and energy. So, so we gradually added to all of that. Everybody's part-time. It's not like everybody's full-time. We have some full-timers, obviously. A lot of them are 20 hours, this and this and this. But one of the major problems is communication. You have 20 employees. If we decide to hypothetically something very easy as scissors, okay, from now on, the scissors is not, somebody moves the scissors. Now you don't know where the scissors is. I mean, I'm just saying, like, scissors. Imagine, like, every single item you have in the restaurant, pepperoni. It got moved from here. We don't know where it is. And, who moved it? Or just, if you don't have a structure and a system, you set yourself up for major problems when you have a lot of people working. Anyways, that's another topic of how you can manage a team and manage people and all the drama.
But did you get trained by the old owners? Like, how long was that?
No.
Whoa. Are you serious?
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, here you go. This is our business.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you learned a lot of it yourself or from the current employees? How did that work out?
You learn from the current employees as well as the way it works. You're going to make a mistake, you're going to screw up, and then you're going to learn. That's just is going to be, and you're going to screw up, you're going to make a customer very unhappy, and you're going to realize there is a problem with something. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have a good system for something. The only way for you to realize it sometimes is when there's a screw up. And you're going to learn from that. So you got to make the customer happy with whatever way you can, apologize for it and different stuff, and you realize, hey, we need to change this, we need to help with this, we need to learn this, we need to do whatever it is. So and you need to learn very fast. You have no time to have sympathy for yourself. So it's just the life and it's business. You need to get it done. So
okay, so you made a mistake. The customer is unhappy. What do you do to make it up?
It depends on the kind of problem that has been, but usually there are different ways we do it. We give them like a little bit of our donuts. It depends on the kind of the problem. You're always going to have some unhappy customers, period. So it's just the way you handle it. And sometimes people have a rough day themselves. There's something very small, they just get ticked off, customers, the food, anyways, a lot of times with your business, you think that the business itself is like, so someone is passionate about cooking, and they think that that's all, they focus on recipes and this is the least of your issues. Most of your issues is going to be staff and customers and marketing and like all of that. So food itself doesn't have drama, flour, yeast, and water makes pizza dough, cheese. I mean, it has, it never gets tired, it just does its thing. So, but so unhappy customers, different ways we do it. I try to over deliver with it. I have a texting service. A lot of times our staff is trained to get that person's name and phone number and tell me what happened. I send them an e-gift via text message that they can redeem. It could be like a $10 gift or it's a $20 gift, or even I have to give them their food free. Sometimes I will do it. I really want to make sure that customers leave happy. That's like very important to me. So if there was any screw up on our part, I always, and no matter who did it, it doesn't matter. That's instant. You cannot point fingers. You just need to focus on how you're going to solve the problem. And it's important in this day and age because they're going to go leave you a Yelp review. They're going to go tell 10 other people. It doesn't matter. $20 is the food. Just give it. It doesn't matter. Just comp out the order, feed them free. It doesn't matter. It's not worth the headache to stress over. So.
And I love that you mentioned the Yelp review because a lot of times when the customer does get upset, they're kind of on that like the boiling point and they just go and they just like leave a nasty review, and
yes.
That review will take hundreds of thousands, maybe dollars of lost revenue in the coming years because Yelp reviews, they don't just get removed. Like they're permanent. So that makes a lot of sense to make your customer happy no matter what. Just forget about that. Forget about the order. Just give it to them. Make them happy. And you mentioned the text service. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So one of the things I thought about, so we need to have a database of our customers. And so there are different ways of having a database. At the end of the day, you want to have a way of being in touch with your customers. So I felt like I don't personally look my email much, so I thought texting would be a better idea. So I have a texting service I think we pay $87 a month for it, but it's a flat fee. So whether I have 100 people in it or I have 1,000 people that I send text to, it's a fixed rate, the one I have. And I'm very happy with it as well. So there are different ways I can utilize it. One, I can send a coupon. I can send a e-gift that it just like our customer shows in their cell phone like that, and our staff presses the redeem button on it. And I can track it on the back end, which day it was redeemed, what was redeemed, things of that nature. Second, I can send a poll. I can send a questionnaire. We could have an event. I can say, are you going to be attending our grand opening? And people say yes or no. I can kind of track that. And I can view all the phone numbers. I can pick up the phone and call my customer right on the spot. I can see and then I have somebody in the Philippines, a virtual assistant I have. Every day she goes into our POS system online, and all the phone orders, takeouts, deliveries, because we collect phone numbers for those when you place an order to come pick up and stuff. She sends a questionnaire and says, thank you so much for ordering from us. We appreciate you. Was there any way that we could have served you better? It's another filter way I'm trying to do quality control. Was the food cold because they picked it up? It doesn't matter if there was anything missing. It was wrong topping, something happened. I get all people can respond to me and say pizza was great, or thank you, or your staff was rude, or anything that happened. They can tell me, so I can give them a call. I can just pick the phone. I can see their phone number right there. I can call them. I can apologize about it and make it right, or I can send a text message directly and say, like I did it today. I'm like, I'm sorry, there was no jalapenos on your pizza. This is please show this text to our staff to get a free order of breadsticks on your next visit. Because we screwed up. Doesn't matter. We did not put jalapeno on your order, so it's my fault, so I need to fix it. So I try to do different things to have that quality control. So the text message, I use it this way as well. As well as I have them on the wall. We have like a chalk paint on the wall, so with texting, with a chalk written on our staff, it says like text like cheesy to this phone number and show us the text to receive a free order of our Zeppola, which is our little donuts. It's cheap for us to do. It's just our pizza dough. We fry it and we coat it in cinnamon sugar, and we just give some people like it a lot. So we do that as well, like as our incentive, like online business, you do an ebook or something like that. So we do our Zeppola.
Wow. So what you said about the text messaging service is really incredible. What did you say? Do you mind sharing the service? What is it called?
It's called Tap, T-A-P, direct.com.
Tapdirect.com. That's really incredible because what you just said really seems like you're really using their system to your advantage, like hardcore. I mean, we have these things on us 24/7. A text message, it appears right in front of my face as soon as it comes. Email, I have to fetch for it. Well, that's at least how I set up my phone, where it doesn't ring when I get an email. But it really, I think, is so much more powerful. But do you ever find people trying to unsubscribe from those text messages? And if they do, is it an easy process to do that?
It is easy to unsubscribe. If you just say stop, send it just unsubscribe. So it's not too bad in that sense. And I usually try not to bug people too much with it. Again, there's these quality controls that go out. And then, so I have that, the texting, and then I have another website I use that sends cards. When I have people ordering deliveries, I have their address in our database. I have their address. It's a good thing with a restaurant, especially a pizzeria, because people easily give you their address and phone number and their email. If they go online ordering, they give me their email. I have all that information. Now, I'm not going to use that and send them a bunch of stuff. But like the address, what I do as well, I send a card once a week. I have my virtual assistant do it. I tell her which ones it is. Any order that is above, like usually $40, I send a card, because still they purchased from, I say thank you so much for choosing us. Just a thank you. I'm not saying sign up for something. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm just trying to thank them for their order and whatever it is. And I think some of these, I learned a lot of them from online businesses and stuff.
Gary Vaynerchuk does that. Yeah, love that.
So, which doesn't happen much in a brick and mortar. Because,
exactly.
So it doesn't usually happen. So you can stand out. There's great opportunity with a brick and mortar business if you know a little bit of these marketing. So I manage these aspects of our business. So
I love that. I remember Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about one of his employees from Wine Library called people to thank them for their order, for their wine order. And they'd be like, hey, this is John. I just want to say thank you for your order and, happy holidays. I think it was over the holidays. And they're like, thank you. Thanks. And they're like waiting for a pitch. And the guy's like, oh yeah, so you have a wonderful day, all right, bye-bye. And people are just floored because they're so used to getting pitches at the end of thank you. And I love that you mentioned that you just say thank you and that's it. You really thank them for their business. I love that.
Yeah, I think it goes a long way, so it's just good to do that. And it's not expensive. Yeah. These are just like, again, the text message. I already paid monthly, so I might as well maximize it in different ways that I can. And then the card is just a card and a stamp. It's not too much. And because for me, everything is recurring. It's because always people have, for me as a restaurant, so it depends on different business, people have like one favorite pizza place they always go to. There's one Mexican place they always go to, at least us. So there's one Chinese place you always go to. So I want to be that pizzeria for people. Whenever they think of pizza, because we have all these big chains, they have obviously great marketing and they have a whole team of that. They have graphic designers. They have studied everything. They have a lot of money for it. So how are you going to stand out? It's these little gestures, which I hope people would appreciate. So that's just how I've been trying to do. So.
I love that. And do you ever see people come back in and say thank you for the card or?
Well, I think it is more of a passive thing. I have not. There was one time this one thing happened. There was this one customer who had ordered delivery and from us, and something happened with that delivery. I don't know what it was, but he had called. He was unhappy with it. I think one of our delivery drivers are all high schoolers. He did the pizza like this. It has mush. Yeah. Anyways, I mean, all kinds of stuff happens with the food item. I wish it was like a jewelry. It's always the same, and you don't want to break it or something, but you know what I mean. Like with food, millions of things can go wrong. It just could be a little bit more salt than it should have been. It's just you need a lot of quality control every single food that goes out. But and he told me, hey, I'm very unhappy about this. We're your regulars. I got your card in the mail. I was like so happy and stuff. And then I apologized about it and I said, hey, I'm gonna get your food right now. We're gonna deliver you the same food on us. I'm gonna send my delivery driver. It's gonna be there in 20 minutes. So I sent their same pizza, whatever they had ordered, because I can see all of that. I send them a new pizza on us and stuff. So a lot of times, again, you want to make sure customers happy because everybody has choices. You have 10 gazillion pizza choices. You have any kind of business you can think of, people have 10 gazillion choices.
Yeah.
Nothing's unique. There's nothing new under the sun, really. There's some, obviously, twists and you can have your own brand and stuff, but at the end of the day, there's nothing new under the sun. People have options.
Wow.
This is America. So.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much for that reminder. And it's true. I can just walk down the street or I can go on the other side of the street and get the same thing. Okay, so I want to ask you, what other marketing avenues do you use for your business? So I know you use text messages and maybe that's all you use, but it seems like it's really working for you. But is there anything else?
Different ones. I have always known without having done that, is that the print marketing does not work. And so I knew about it just knowledge-wise. I had heard about it. But obviously you have a salesperson who comes in all the time trying to sell you something, and that sounds great. You send it to 30,000 homes, sure, and then so you do that, and a lot of them are contracts. You're committing to 6 months, it's $400 a month. And you have no control over it. At least if it's like a Facebook ad, you can pause it if you don't want to continue with it or change it or something. But so yes, I have done print ads. As everybody tells you, don't do it. Yes, don't do it. It has no results. It has no ROI. I'm telling you, for the amount of money you're spending on it, has nothing to work with. It just doesn't know. So that's one.
Okay.
Second, what has worked a lot has been ultimately relationships. So here we are new to this town. So one of the things I want to do, I want to be active in the community and where it aligns with who I am. So if someone is in the motorcycle, so you want to find a motorcycle club if you're whatever. So I'm a Christian, so I'm going to be involved at our church. I'm going to be involved in our churches in our community. So I always try to donate pizza. We take pizza, free pizza in our like 3 mile radius. There are a ton of businesses. We take pizza over free all the time, just to treat. Hey, this is just to say, thank you. We get a lot of your employees for lunch and stuff, so we just wanted to, bring you a little bit of sample. And that has had a lot. And second, I go to like networking groups, and a lot of them they want to meet somewhere, so a lot of them meet at our restaurant, which has been a blessing as well. And I try to be in the dining room talking to people. My husband and I, both of us, we try to anybody we know, we just come out, even if it's a quick thing, we're busy or whatever, we just come out. I mean, acknowledge people, thank them for again, they have choice. They could go next door. We have 3-4 restaurants next to us. There's a Mexican, there's a wing place, there's us, there's a Chinese. And they chose to come to us. So we try to do that. So relationships has been, and we're active in our Chamber of Commerce. And whenever you're active in the community, people value that. At least in our community where we live, people are very community oriented. So they appreciate that. We host a lot of fundraisers. Like usually restaurants, they would give 10% of the sales generated. We do 30 to try to stand out. So I feel relationships has been the most because it generates word of mouth because people know who you are, where your heart is, and they tell other people about it. And free pizza taken into neighborhoods. Always, if people can taste what you have to offer, it doesn't matter if it's service or it's a product. And anyways, free pizza always gets you anywhere as well.
I agree.
Oh yeah, we go like for instance, there's a very large building. It's Amazon. We have an Amazon warehouse here, and Caterpillar, humongous buildings. They have like security. You cannot get in the building. They have security camera. There are like 3 security guys. Hey, we're a local pizzeria. We got you guys some pizza. Come on in. We go always strategic times. We go between 11 to noon or 4 to 5. You can get into anywhere. We go to city councils, with pizza. And, oh wow, it's just common among all humans, no matter what nationality, where you go. Food is like a common language. So you just try to tap into that as well. So.
I love that. That is so cool. Wow. Okay, so I've heard that food is a common language. I mean, it's true, but it's like in a business sense, it makes so much sense. A lot of business owners though, they're kind of like, I'm going to lose so much money by giving away so much pizza, like that's a lot of money. But I guess you cannot really count that ROI on it. But what would you say? Like, I mean, you can't, how Gary Vaynerchuk says, you can't measure the ROI of your mother. But like, what would you say? Like, do you think that relationship building is more important than the text marketing?
I think both of them are equally important because the way I use the texting is not as much in terms of marketing and as I'm trying to use it for quality control a lot of times to make sure our customers are happy. I think for us, we manufacture, we make our own food. The cost of a pizza is not much. The cost of it itself, it costs $1. I can make a pizza fresh. The problem is obviously we have rent, we have payroll, we have all of that. The pizza itself is not expensive. What's expensive, a lot of the costs you have, and that has to be integrated within your pizza so you can pay people, your vendors, all the bills and all of that. That's why a pizza is $10 or $20. Just that. The pizza itself is not expensive. So, and it is the cheapest way and most effective way to spread the word about your product. But if you believe in your product, I feel our pizza is very good. I believe in our pizza. I mean, we make it from scratch. I believe it is very good. I believe if I give it to somebody and they're going to come to our restaurant, I believe that because I know our pizza is good and I try to, build relationships with them and stuff. So with businesses we go, we try to as well talk to them, acquire information. It's not just, hey, it's a pizza and we go, hey, we introduce ourselves and, try to, hey, who are you? How long have you worked here? And like, we try to build relationships with people around as well. So
do you personally deliver the pizzas or do you have somebody else do it?
My husband and I, for a long time, we did it. And it's been about 1 month that I have hired someone. It's a mom. I wrote it in somewhere I asked. I looked specifically for a mom who is homeschooling their kids because I thought that would be great because it's like 10 hours a week. So she does that 10 hours a week. She comes, picks pizza, and takes them to businesses around and follows up with them. That's it. That's what she does. And that's been about a month. So because we're trying to delegate some of the stuff, so we're not working 80 hours a week. So
I love that. Wow, you have given us so much great information. Really, really interesting story. Really great marketing tactics. The relationship building strategies, incredible. So I want to ask you this. What advice would you give somebody who is starting out, either buying a business or opening a business? What would you tell them?
I would tell them that having your own business is not for the faint of heart. If you are not committed into doing whatever it takes, you're not going to succeed. There are like a lot of statistics. I think is like 1 out of every 3 restaurants, they don't make it, and the reason is because it is hard. If you're not committed, if you're not passionate, and because what happens is you have to work like 60, 80 hours a week, and you have to sustain it. You have to do it for months until things pick up. And if you're not willing to do it, then you better not do it. And I would suggest, my advice is, you can, if I knew about it, I would have gone to my local pizzeria. I would have talked to, we're in another town. I mean, back in New Mexico when we lived there. I could tell them, hey, I'm going to just clean up tables, wash dishes for free at night. Just let me come in a few hours just for me to see, If someone comes and tells me and they're like, hey, I'm going to open a pizzeria in another town, so they're not my competitor, I would let them be in our restaurant. I want them to see what it's like to have a restaurant and stuff. So I would say seek counsel of people who know someone else who's done this. Seek counsel, ask a question, try to be there for free. Just, hey, I will help you, I will work with you. What do you want me to do? I will scrub floors and bathrooms. It doesn't matter. Let me in. And seek counsel without filtering. I think in the beginning, we would talk to some restaurant owners, and I would, in my mind, I wanted to believe what I wanted to believe. That no, it won't be difficult. We can do it. It will not be. They're saying it because of their. You're going to come up with a million excuses. Don't filter out. Just seek counsel. At the same time, obviously, a lot of people are negative too. I would say that if you are committed, it'll be greatly rewarding because it feels so good to. We work long hours as a family. But I would not change that for a thing. I think I feel like we're in our element. We're just hustling, and it's hard, and it's so good. I don't know, it's great. It's rewarding, but you need to be committed. And another thing would be just find people who are better than you in different stuff. So Matt and I, my husband and I, we're not very organized. We have a manager. She's very organized, so that helps us. So we don't try to do everything because that would be impossible. Those are some of the things then.
That's awesome. Okay. So, I want to close with this. And I should have probably closed with the other question, but I want to close with asking you. So we heard your story, and it's very inspiring. And it seems like you're doing everything right. Everything is going great. Awesome. I'm so glad you're so open about that. So what were some of the things that you made mistakes on, that you feel that's not working well, and how did you overcome it? How are you overcoming it? Talk to us.
Well, again, like the print marketing, we made a lot of mistakes with that. And for any business, I feel like you're never successful. We're not certainly successful. We are able to, and we've been in 10 months, we've been having this restaurant. And for a restaurant like us, if you can break even, that means that you have survived. So if you can survive the first year, you've done well. It is for a restaurant because it's hard. But we have made many mistakes, and we continue to make mistakes all the time. And in my opinion, the way to not let you, get you discouraged is to learn the most you can from it, and how can you make it better. Just be focused on the solution versus the problem. There are always going to be problems all the time, and you need to be just, how are we going to fix it? And just talk about that versus, this is the problem. Don't go on and think in your mind about the problem. So we have obviously hired people wrong. It took a long time to fire them. We should have fired them like months, but it dragged it, and things of that nature. I mean, so much. I mean, and then it continues. We continue to learn, and that's just the way it is. The process of having a local business is you have to learn all the time. So.
Wow. I thank you so much for sharing that. That's it sheds more light that not everything is sunny and roses. So that's before you get into a business, make sure that you know what you're getting into, and failures is not necessarily a sign for you to quit. It's something that you need to persevere and get through it. So, Hengam, you mentioned when we previously talked, there are some business people, speakers, mentors who inspire you, who you listen to. Who would you mind sharing that with us? I know I didn't tell you that I'll ask you this, but somebody who you look up to, somebody whose books you read or whose keynotes you watch, somebody who really brings you and your local business a lot of value. Who would that be?
My husband and I, we watch Gary Vaynerchuk a lot. And there's another gentleman, Grant Cardone. We watch his stuff, his books as well. But that would be one. And then Danny Johnson is another one who I have learned so much from in terms of attitude, in terms of understanding relationships, how to build rapport. She has some great trainings. Again, the part I was telling you, asking people questions and how to go with that, building relationships for people to trust you and different stuff with customers and things. So those would be three that I would say on top of my list that I probably watch weekly, daily.
Wow.
Listen, consume any way I can.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good. For those listening, I'm sure this is really good information that they're jotting down right now and going to Google and looking at, because we all need some inspiration here. There sometimes it feels like we're all on our own with our spouses, or and there's no one to support us. So I feel like this is really great. All right, so Hengam, thank you so much for getting on with me and taking your time, because I know you're so busy, always hustle. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate all the value that you've given us, because we've talked about so much, and I really appreciate it. So where can we find you? Like, where, for Texans who live in your area, where can we find you? Is there a website we can find you at? Twitter?
So we, the restaurant's name is Mattenga's Pizzeria. My husband's name is Matt, so it's M-A-T-T. And then I am the E-N-G-A. Enga part is my name, so it's Mattenga's. So if anybody wants to email, it's mattengas@gmail. If anybody has any questions or anything, I'd be happy to respond. But our website, obviously, is mattengas.com. And obviously, we have a Facebook page as well. We are located in Schertz. Schertz is Schertz. It's a German name, Schertz in Texas, and that's kind of northeast Texas. San Antonio, northeast San Antonio. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Enga, sure. And I will talk to you later. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye. Wasn't that amazing? Hengam is an incredible business owner and shared lots of wonderful tips and information that we can apply into our businesses. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to smallbusinessgal.com for more interviews just like this.